I really didn't want to have to do this video. In fact, I said I wasn't going to do any more doesn't know what he's talking about videos after the StephIsCold video. I also said I wouldn't do anything but uplift other creators in the top 10 dating coaches in the world video. But since that video is not coming out till August, and I got 10 videos scheduled already, let's talk about the Saint and the Sinner's critique on AMS, StephIsCold, MJ GetRight, and Fitxfearless, the four horsemen of the game. And we're starting right now.
Rim low on my fitted, dreams has always been vivid. I'm just trying to go get it, catch me right around and I'm ignorant, I'm just rolling.
But I'm going to do this just for you guys because I need to correct and critique a lot of what was said. Not to say that I don't have respect for these gentlemen. I do, and I'll try my best to be respectful as we go through this information.
That goes for me too.
Discussion with and I know y'all guys want to get all our take on choosing signals and all this and that and other, but we want to start off first with this money, look, status, confidence debate. Steph, what's your take on that? How you rank that, Steph?
Well, in my opinion, money, looks, and status, my opinion, and how like us young men deal with women in today's society, and how chicks portray you on social media and stuff, status is number one.
Right.
That's just, and the only reason why status is number one is because she doesn't know you have money. So a chick can't look at you and be like, oh, he got bread. She ain't gonna know. But she can Google you, or she can see your Instagram page, your YouTube channel. Now all of a sudden she on you. Now all of a sudden she want to know more about you. So it's kind of different in the terms of you being younger. Now older, status really don't really matter like that to chicks that's established because they already got their own thing going on, right? Their head is at a different headspace. But as far as like chicks in their 20s, chicks in their late teens, early 20s, status is number one. In my opinion, status is number one. Then it comes money, right? And I'm not going in order like what's better than what. Right? Then it comes money. Now she's not gonna know you make a lot of money. She's not gonna know what kind of money you making unless she see your lifestyle. Unless you portray your lifestyle on social media, or unless she see you somewhere outside, y'all at the club or y'all at the gym, and she see you riding a certain whip, then she's gonna portray that image. Oh, he has money, so that's gonna make you.
I couldn't listen to too much. Let me get to work. Let me get to this work. You dig?
You gonna get this work? I killed you. Hold up. You gonna get this work?
They asked a question. They said, what's most important to a woman? Money, looks, or status? Now, here's what messes me up. If we're players, if we're pickup artists, if we're people who know how to talk to a woman, where's the game?
Where is the game?
Why are the options money, looks, and status? Where's the fourth piece, which is the game? The game is the most important. That's how I know you're getting bad guidance off the rip.
Wait, King, or should I say pimp? Just give him a chance.
They didn't even mention game. And the reason they didn't mention game is this. When you talk to a brick maker, every time he explains something, he has to relate it to brick making because that's what he knows. You talk to a baker, they're going to relate something to the process of baking cookies because that's what they know. That's what they're familiar with. That's how they earn. Now, when you're talking to StephIsCold, and I respect the brother, he's a good brother, very intelligent, has good insights. But when he says that status is number one, why does he say that? Because he has a large following on YouTube, has a large following on Instagram. So he has status in the eyes of young females. So when they see his YouTube following or his Instagram following, they assign status to StephIsCold. And based on that perceived status, he's able to capture the female's interest. You see?
Let me stop you right there, pimp. Because not only are you 100% right, but Steph was paying for dating advice from AMS just the other year. And how do I know? Because he said it in one of his videos. And I got a quick $100 to whoever decides to send me the link to that video. Because I did try to go through his content before, but he has too many videos and I don't have time for it. And it's so many things in his content that I disagree with that I just couldn't watch it.
That's his primary tool. Now, what if the internet didn't exist and you had to go meet a bitch in the desert, right? In the middle of nowhere, and you had to talk that talk old school, you dig? You didn't have to have the bitch Google your name. You just have to kick pure pimping. Then it'd be a different story. The reason he lists status as number one, because it's number one for him. Huh? Now, here's the other thing that he said that was errant.
Let me Google search that word. I don't know.
And this is no disrespect to the young brother, because I have a lot of admiration for a young lion. He said money is number two. Nah, let me take you deep. And this is why I am the Nobel laureate of the game, the master of the ism, Fax Kellerman, the big homie. This is why. Check this out. He said money is number two. Money actually is not as important to women as you would think. A pimp will tell you that off the rip, because women give a pimp 100% of their money. So clearly women are not money driven. That's number one.
Fellas, my heavy game radar is going off.
Number two, you fellas at home get misguided and think that money is a major force in the mind of a woman. Why? Because you're projecting. This is why you're projecting. When you have a lot of money, when your money is right, you feel more confident. When you pull up on a hoe in a nice foreign whip, you feel more confident. When you can wear mercerized cotton like this, you dig? When you can wear cashmere pants like this, you dig? When you wear a motherfucking pair of pants with no belt loop because they're custom made, you feel better because you have the money, huh? It's the money inflating your sense of self. But
why do you think a guy like me was able to get money from women and to have a sugar mama? Because most women, they want you to have a good job. But you ain't got to pull up in that foreign. You don't have to show up in a Maserati. That attracts gold diggers. That don't attract most women.
if you're a real man, if you're spiritually developed, if you've been following the philosophy of the assassin, you'd feel great whether you're broke, rich, or otherwise.
See, whether I was dressed up in some designer or I was in some dirty basketball sneakers, my game never changed. It never left me.
Because true greatness, the feeling of strength and peace and positivity and prosperity and abundance, that's a mental game. That's not a financial game. Because here's why. Money can disappear. But the reason you confuse money with a tool for getting women is because you feel better when you have money. And if you're listening to what a woman says, even when she says she wants a guy who's a baller, a guy who has a nice car or a good job, don't listen to anything women say, because most of the fucking time, their brain is not revealing what's really there. No, the things that come out of their mouth are not a true representation of what's in their mind. So never listen to what a woman says, because a woman might tell you she's a virgin when she's not a virgin. When my book comes out shortly, you'll read about 3 different women who told me they were virgins when they were not virgins. Huh? They had a reason to lie. Women want security. Money can be a proxy for security. They think if you have money, you'll provide more security.
All money ain't good money.
Huh? What women really want is security. What women really want is a leader and a guide, someone who's reliable, someone who's trustworthy, someone who has a level of predictability, but still a level of unpredictability and can give them mystery and excitement. Huh? Talk to me. So money's not important to women. If money was important to women, look at the data. Women don't work as many hours as men. Women are not driven by money. Women are less inclined to do overtime. Women are less inclined to be ambitious in the medical field. They're more likely to be a nurse than be a doctor, even though women outperform men in higher education. Huh? Women are not money driven. Men are money driven because a lot of men get their self-esteem from their pocketbook. The big homie, I could have $0 in my account and still feel like a boss because I know I could turn a bitch into an ATM if I really needed to. That's the pimping.
It's funny because you guys look at the numbers and you assume like this YouTuber has 50,000 subscribers. He knows what he's talking about. But this guy that we're watching right now, he hasn't even cracked 10,000 yet. Get him to 100K. Real game. Recognize real. And I've never been a pimp before, but I definitely have no problem getting money out of a female.
Now, let me get back to what these squares are telling you. I'm just here to correct the game. Oh yeah, one last thing. You can tell that this is low-level game. Here's why. He said a woman cannot look at you and tell if you have money. That's a goddamn lie. Only a low-level woman can't look at you and tell that you have money. Most women can look at me and tell that my pocketbook is good. You dig? She could tell that I got enough pocket change to peel off a few greenbacks if I need to. Why can they tell that? Tonation, body carriage, grooming, grammar. Huh? How can they tell that? The way your clothes fit, the style of clothes you're wearing. People who do not have money try to show off money.
When you ask some of the bottle girls, the strippers, all of that stuff, where are the brokest people? It's usually the people buying the bottles and doing all that extra stuff. Because they spend all their money trying to look rich instead of using that money to get rich.
People who do have money don't need to show it off. Why? Because it's nothing to them. That's why. I know very wealthy men who drive Prius. Huh? It's always those dumb rappers who have a couple $1,000s and they put it on their ear and make a money phone. People with real money look down on that because it's silly. Real men don't need to floss because outer show is a poor substitute for inner worth. When you're a real boss, people can see it in the way you move. They can see it in the way you talk. They can see it in how demanding you are. And you're demanding because you've been living at the top of the food chain. I don't want to hear this nonsense about a woman can't look at you and tell if you have money. That's ludicrous. Of course a woman can look at you and tell if you have money. And it doesn't come from petty toys like cars. Now let's get back to what they were saying, folks. I hope I didn't turn up too much. You know I like to get into this shit deep. You heard me. Now, I think I addressed everything that they said, but remember, these are not real game spitters because when they said what attracts a woman, is it money, looks, or status, they didn't even mention game. That shit, I'm appalled.
I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. I didn't think to mention game too.
Even more attractive to her, right? Now, and then like another thing with money is all women love money. We all know women love money, right? So, hell yeah.
See, when I disagree with this point, y'all gonna look at me and say, oh, he's got 2,000 subscribers. He don't know what the fuck he talking about. But I keep telling you, the amount of subscribers I have does not equate to the amount of females that I've dated. Dumbass.
Women gonna be attracted to that. But you can't keep on.
I'm sorry. I can't just keep listening to it. Listen to the bullshit. You heard this man say all women love money? No.
My heavy game radar is about to go off.
Women love love. You want to know the key to running a bitch? Love. You pull her heartstrings. You want to become a puppeteer and a controller and an influencer of a female? You deal with her heart. Women love love. Women love affection. Women love attention.
Oh no, pimp. Don't you say that. They gonna call you a beta.
Particularly if it's from a male that they care about. Women don't love money. That's nonsense. I don't even want to hear that. Let me give you an example that's meaningful, and I want you to go out and try this in the real world. Have you ever noticed that there are homeless people out on the planet Earth? You sometimes see a homeless woman, a lady bum, and she's with a male bum. They're both bums having no money and they're asking for money together. She's sticking with him. Why? Because the value of that relationship means more to her than using her pussy to get an upgrade. And I would encourage you, next time you see a lady bum, spit some game at her and see if you can win. I bet you that you won't win because money's not the highest value to her. Not even to a hooker or a prostitute is money the highest value. If that was the case, you'd never see a homeless woman. Because me, I tell you, just like the big homie Sugar Free, I better never hear a bitch say she broke as long as she got some ass, some pussy, and a deep throat. None of them have to be broke. They choose to be broke because money is not such a big value. If it was a big value, they would get their ass on the blade and figure out how to get paid. You dig?
Comment down below if you agree with that. I agree with it 100%. And the funny thing is, I just found his channel yesterday. And I was like, this video is 2 hours long. No way I'm watching all of this video. 2 hours later, not only did I watch it, but I'm making a video.
Woman will just show money, but that money is gonna get all those attentions. You're gonna get a lot of choosing signals just because chicks know you got bread, just because chicks know you got money, right? So yeah, that's my things on and then looks is very important.
I'm trying to make this as short as possible for y'all, so I cut out a few parts, but I'll continue.
Because I'm a hunter, and a real man is a hunter. I don't need a choosing signal. I'll walk up on a bitch without a choosing signal and then make her choose me. Huh? Why is that? Because I got the game. I don't need the status, the money, or the looks. I happen to have all three, but you dig, I could work without it if I didn't. Let's get back to what these boys are talking about.
Looks gonna get you in the door. But looks is not gonna get you to seal the deal. Looks is gonna get you to choose the signal, but you still gotta make the approach. Right? It's a lot of handsome guys in this world, no homo, but a lot of those guys lack the confidence, a lot of those guys lack the game. That scares the woman away. So if you lack the confidence and lack the game, then the looks don't really mean nothing. It's like a dude that look handsome, but then when you approach a woman, he's like this, talking like this to her. Then it's turning her off to the point where it's like, ugh.
I agree with that.
I tell you, Steph is cold. Steph got some good game. He's right that the looks pop it off. The looks are kind of what starts it. He's right about that. It'll get you in the door. Just like my auntie Val told me, she said, you're a pretty boy. You need to shut your mouth because your issue won't be talking your way into pussy. Your issue will be talking your way out of pussy because you're a pretty man. Keep your mouth closed. Keep it player. Next thing you know, she going to put the water all over you. You dig? Now, check this out. Here's what kills me about what the gentleman was saying. I want to say he's correct that looks will get you in the door. He also said that if you don't have the game or you can't execute the mouthpiece, then you're going to end up in a bad situation. This is also true. So I'm going to go ahead and give him some credit because these are all things that are accurate. He also said you still need to make the approach, which is factual. You still got to go talk to the woman. But I can assure you that there are a lot of women who will give you indications that they think you're attractive, even though they don't really want to move forward. And because women like attention, right? And also everyone likes to look at that which is attractive. So if a woman's married and she sees that you're attractive, but she's a loyal broad, she might look at you hard, but you ain't gonna get no action. That's why you have to be a hunter.
Nah, pimp, you don't need to be no hunter. That's beta as hell.
No choosing signal, no cold approach. I'm not finna. Hey, I ain't doing that. Hell no, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. Walking over there. Hi, what I look like? That's beta as hell. I ain't doing that.
Men should be a hunter, hunters of women. And I can assure you that when you go talk to the woman, if you lay down the game properly, you can get in the door. Even if a woman does not find you attractive, a woman will grow to find you attractive because that's how women are built. Familiarity is a very important thing to a female. Also, trust is important. Connection, chemistry is important for a female. They're not visual creatures. That's why women, for the most part, didn't grow up watching a lot of pornography. They read 50 Shades of Grey.
How do I know this is true? Because I've dated women that have told me that I wasn't their type.
Because it's the imagination that stimulates the woman, huh? They got to imagine it. They don't need to see it in a vulgar way. That's not the makeup of the female. You heard me?
But if the dude has handsome looks and he has the confidence to game to go with it, it's like you hitting three birds with one stone. It's like, bitch, she's more receptive to want to message you because of your energy. Right? If you got all four of those on live, then you just you cold. You know what I'm saying? You cold. That's my thing on that.
All right, go Fit.
I disagree a little bit. I think the looks come first because I think with social media.
Let me take this right quick. I like the fact that you said I disagree a little bit because I didn't want this damn podcast to be an amen podcast where we just sit up here like amen, everybody say amen, amen. It only works if we have some shit we disagree on. We can't agree on every fucking thing. It was a podcast. Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
I think a lot of.
Hey, look, I'm disrespectful. I ain't gonna lie to you. And here's the thing. I've been the same guy my whole life. Check my background, check my G file, you dig? So I'm disrespectful. This nigga looks like a black Ninja Turtle, buff ass nigga.
Wait. I thought we were gonna be respectful in this video.
And the way he's smiling and being all like adjusting his shirt, his tank top so you can see his titties, that's some weirdo shit to me. I'm just calling a spade. And yeah, I'm disrespectful. And you can see me about it. I talk shit in real life.
Alright, I'm a referee it because we ain't gonna take it there. Fit, I did think that was weird when I watched it live, but then I realized you some bodybuilder type of dude, so that's what bodybuilders do. And Pimp, Fit fight too, so we not gonna take it there.
You would come around me in real life and see me talking foul, and I stand on it. And I just want to throw out a side note for these buff ass niggas. I love to see people fit. Shout out to the boy Fit X, whatever his name is, Fit whatever. Shout out to him because I love to see people in good shape. Shout out to everybody who hits that gym regularly. But to the big homie, if you don't throw hands, you ain't a real goon. If you don't throw hands, you ain't a real wolf.
I'm gonna take things a little bit further. If you afraid to get your ass knocked out, you not a real goon. Like, I'm not gonna let anybody disrespect me. Regardless of how they look, I'm gonna throw the first punch. Because listen, you gonna know that I will take a L before I let anybody disrespect me. And that's some real shit. Have I taken L's before? Absolutely. I've been jumped 3 times. But I will say, if you think you gonna fight me and I'm gonna lose, just know, if we don't patch things up, every time I see you, it's on sight.
Because look, a woman, they like the aesthetic of musculature. They like the physique. I do too. It's gorgeous.
Pause. I'm childish. And just to be fair, since you said something about Fit, I'm going to tell you who you look like. And I don't care if y'all say who I look like. They say I look like Joe Johnson, but you look like Old Man Saxton from Rhythm and Flow. That's my guy. But check this out.
I'm just saying, y'all just saying the same. And I got my nose up like I'ma stay in the game. Might not. Might nobody cop when I drop on my God. Ain't nobody walk in my socks. Might not. Might nobody cop when I drop on my God. Ain't nobody walk in my socks, nigga.
I hope he's competing. But in reality, when people get big and buff, what are they trying to do? They're trying to look intimidating. But a real savage, they could spot out that the youngin' is sweet from a mile away because he keeps smiling all goofy and shit. Like, you could tell he didn't grow up around goons. You could tell because he wouldn't have that disposition. And a woman is not going to respect that. Why? Because you too like bubbly, like off some cheerleader shit. So to me, not my taste. I think a lot of hoes won't really like that. But let's get to what he was saying in terms of game.
Okay, I disagree with that. For me personally, I think my game is more of a charming, funny guy. Like AMS. AMS maintains a masculine frame and wants to be serious, but he's kind of funny too. But for me, I like to enjoy myself. And if I want to say something funny, I'm going to say it. I don't care if it's not funny to her or not. It is what it is. I like to laugh and I like to joke around, and y'all see it in my YouTube videos. Like, I'm going to be me. Not because AMS says maintain a masculine frame. Do what works for you.
Now, here's the thing, talking about the Black Ninja Turtle. What my boy said was that looks are number one. And first off, let me point out something. When he said, I disagree a little bit, study the linguistics. That lets you know what kind of man he is. Take a hard line. Get your ass off the fence. Ain't no such thing as disagree a little bit. Nigga, either you disagree or you don't disagree. Don't disagree a little bit. That's some whole shit. That's how a bitch gonna talk.
I disagree again. I'm not a confrontational person. I go from 0 to 100, which to me means if I say I disagree a little bit, that means I disagree. But when you cross that threshold from me going from 0 to 100, I will go from talking like this to wanting to f you up that fast. There's no let's talk about this. There's either we're talking or we fighting. That's it.
You a real one. You say, I disagree. Here's why. What he said is that looks come number one. Now, why did he say that? Because he's spent all his time in the gym trying to get big. And based on his size, that's how he presents himself. So he feels as though that's his number one draw. Conversely, StephIsCold said status is number one because he has a huge YouTube following, a huge Instagram following. You notice the FitX guy, he only has like 30,000 followers on YouTube, so he's not a big status guy.
True. StephIsCold only has like 43,000 subscribers though. But I did watch FitX go from 10 to 30 in like 3 months, and he's continuing to grow.
But he has the big muscles, so he says that the looks is number one. He ain't as pretty as the big homie though. And just imagine I'm a boxer. Think about how pretty I was before I started boxing. That's why I tell chicks, baby, you look good, but you don't look this good. You dig? Now, he says looks are number one. He's right if he's saying looks will get you in the door, but I know many a handsome nigga who had their woman swept up by a thug nigga, or had their woman swept up by a guy with a nice mouthpiece who knows how to talk to him, huh? So looks cannot be number one. Looks don't get the job done. It does not convert. You will never fuck a bitch 100% based on your looks. That will never happen in the history of the world. You will never find a guy who is homeless and gorgeous and slaying bitches. It just never happens like that.
Unless they have game, of course. Because this guy was homeless and he slept with a lot of women.
Looks will get you in the door, but at that point, a woman wants to know who you are and what you're about. Undoubtedly, status must come above looks. There's just no doubt about that.
Let's keep it simple. Status comes above looks because ugly celebrities sleep with good-looking girls all the time, and it has nothing to do with their looks. But 99% of men don't have that kind of status, so you might as well throw that one out.
Girls right now, especially on Instagram with Snapchat and all this shit, I feel like a lot of girls, they're dealing with guys with more status. Like all the dudes who are popular, they start to hit these chicks up. So status, I think if a girl is legitimately interested in you, that always comes first. Status, they're like, oh, okay, you famous, but I'm not really into you like that. So yes, status, I think status is important, but for me, first of all, if the bitch ain't into you, she ain't into you. Like you could be a famous motherfucker, and she think you a 5, she gonna still.
God damn it. Here we go again. Look, let me tell you guys some player shit. You dig? First off, my boy said if a girl isn't into you, she's not into you. At a certain level, that's true. I mean, there are some women who don't date black guys, period. But there's some of them you can convert. I had a white chick I met in high school. She went to an all-girls private school in Flint Ridge. And when she met me, she says, I don't date black guys, but you're hot. I said, baby, you don't have to date black guys. You just have to date Marquette Devon Burton. You dig? What women say out of their mouth is meaningless. You're not going in the game to respect what she's talking about. You're going in the game to establish yourself. You're going in the game to put her under your spell. So you're not playing defense, you're playing offense. So that's number one. Women are all about connection. So if you can build connection, you will become more attractive to that woman. What we cannot do is project the nature of a man onto a woman. Me, if I look at a woman and she ain't shaped like an ocho, she ain't shaped like a number 8, hey, there's not a lot to talk about. If I look at a woman and I don't see any features on her, I can't really mess with her. Why? Because the visual is the factor. You dig? Unless she paying me, right? So me, I'm not going to budge on that because that's how men are. We're very carnal animals. That's why we watch pornography. Women can read pornography in the form of romance novels. Another thing I want to point out to you guys, when I pop up that video, observe. This shit is corny to me. The dude in the upper right-hand corner, FitX, he said looks are number one. I just noticed the nigga right below him, MJ GetRight, these niggas look exactly the same. They got the same beard. They both wearing a tank top and they got the same haircut. Is that me or do these niggas look like twins?
So we not gonna keep it civil today? All right, cool. I'm gonna stay out of this.
These niggas is going
lying.
You know what I'm saying?
These niggas look alike. I thought they all looked alike. I thought they were all cousins.
These some trendy ass niggas, man. Like, and this is why I always tell you the creed of the assassin. I say, be who you are. You are remarkable, but you got to know who you are. When these niggas don't know who they are, they look in a magazine or they look at a rap music video and say, oh, Lil Pump got the blonde streak right here. I'm gonna get a blonde streak in my hair. Or little Jojo or little Boo Boo, you know, he's wearing a tank top. I'm gonna like be who you are. When you're not being who you are, you end up on a 4-way video call, and 2 of the niggas look like twins.
I can't lie, yo. You funny as a motherfucker.
James, what you think, man?
Bruh, it's just, I used to watch Steph's videos, like, I want to say back in February, and it's like, they just got repetitive over and over. It's like always about beta male this, alpha male this, and I was like, is this all he talks about? And then I found your videos, and I was like, see, this is what I needed. More just not, it's not all about just women, it's about mentality, your perspective on life, where you trying to go, you know what I'm saying?
Facts. I don't want y'all to think I be picking on Steph because I don't know any of these people. I disagree with what he talks about. I don't know him. I don't feel like he knows what he's talking about.
Yes, I talk about how to get a woman, but that's such a small component of a life well lived. When you live life well, women will come to you in flocks. You understand what I'm saying? And because you have an abundance of something, it begins to have very little value. So to me, women have very little value to me. Not to say I don't have some great women, some real thoroughbreds, you dig? Got a bitch that would kill you if I told her to, but all the same.
It's funny because it's true. Like, I bet he does.
A lot of this stuff that I see in these YouTube channels, they're very repetitive.
And that's why I try to switch it up. I want to keep making the same videos about the same stuff. It's about the red pill. No. Teach me how to make a girl squirt. Or make a reaction video on white girls kissing black guys.
I actually stopped clicking on them because I was like, you guys seem as if you don't have game at all by a long shot. In fact, I believe that they deal with low quality women in my case and in my opinion, because some of this stuff that they were saying, I'm like, I can't believe a guy with this level of intellect could pull a woman, you know, with game. Because you think about game, every game is, like I said, game is mental. Even if you play basketball, it's mental. It's a game of chess. It's it's moves and counter moves, moves and counter moves. I'm like, these guys aren't giving me counter moves. When I look at your YouTube channel, the Say in the Center, I'm like, yo, you are giving me counter moves.
Right.
Pimp, you ain't gonna like this, but I disagree a little bit. And the reason why I disagree is because some people can play ball, but they can't coach it. And it's the same with game. Just because you can play ball doesn't mean you can teach it. That's why you hear a guy like AMS reverting back and continue to go back and rebuttal some of the stuff he says. Because he may be a great player, but some of the stuff he teaches, he says things the wrong way.
And you're giving me preparation, and like a lot of this stuff could be drawn across the board and applied to more than just women. This can be applied to, you know, employees, going into a business meeting, how I carry myself in public, maybe even if I get in trouble with the police. You know what I mean?
There we go. I agree with that 100%.
And one thing you mentioned 2 very meaningful points. Number one, that these guys are repetitive. And I think they're repetitive because they're all studying from the same playbook. Like they're all reading the same pickup artist book. Well, I don't know what books they're reading, but you can tell because they all talk abundance mindset, alpha male this, or like beta male that, red pill this, like all these common terms that they're using.
I do like the abundancy mindset term, but I'm not a fan of the rest of the terms. Alpha males and all this red pill. I never knew about any of this stuff while I was getting women. I'm natural. Like I naturally developed my skill from repetition, cold approaching, doing these things over and over again. Like I wasn't taught by getting coaching calls or having a big homie teach me. I'm self-taught. So all this red pill, all of that stuff, it just seems extra to me.
The one thing I really want to point out, and Magic, you said it best, when I hear these guys purport to know how to talk to women, I can tell that it's exclusively low-class women because merely by their tonation, literally their tone of voice, half the women I deal with on the upper class side of things wouldn't even deal with them because they can't put together a sentence. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how I feel about that statement because I don't know the kind of women they attract. But for me personally, someone with a master's degree and an amazing job, you need to be able to articulate yourself well enough to be able to fit in these circles. There's certain things that I watch, whether it be finance, politics, all of these things that most guys don't find interesting, I'm interested in. And that allows me to sit down, with a 50-year-old person and talk about Tesla stocks and the PE ratios and the dividend yields and all of these things that I know guys aren't paying attention to.
So what I'm really trying to empower you guys to do is to go for the top. A broke bitch ain't worth anything to anybody. I'm not trying to tell you that, hey, go get a girl who's gorgeous. That has no value. I've done that for decades. I'm telling you to get a girl who has her shit together. I'm telling you to get a girl who can make your dreams real. I'm telling you to get a girl who can wake you up early in the morning. I'm telling you to get a girl who wants to be a servant to you. You understand? Like,
my lady's not no servant, but that's what I want for you guys as well. Like, when I didn't have no job, my shorty put $5K in my hands and told me to get those licenses that I needed to be successful. Y'all need to find somebody that's going to help you build a legacy, not a bill because she got ass and titties.
She's going to still dick you around. But if she sees this 10 over here, she don't give you that pussy on the first date. That's just my opinion. Thanks. Right?
Stop it already. Stop it. They done already fucked it up. Look, check this out. Check this out. My boy just said the most incorrect thing I've ever heard. No bullshit. And I hope everyone has their pen and paper out, listening to the Saint and the Sinner. Write this shit down. This is a paradox. A paradox is a contradictory truth. If a woman thinks you are a 10, meaning a woman thinks you are her perfect man, she is not going to give you the pussy on the first night.
Wait, y'all really writing this down?
The young man FitX just said if a woman thinks you're a 10, you're going to get the pussy the first night. That is untrue. Why is it that a woman won't give you the pussy on the first night? Because if she thinks you're the perfect 10, she wants to stay with you. If a woman wants to stay with you, she has to play with you. Huh? If a woman wants to stay with you, she has to play with you, which means she's going to stretch out the amount of time she can withhold the pussy as much as possible. Why?
Let the church say amen. Amen.
Because a pussy is a bargaining chip. As soon as she gives you the pussy, she has no bargaining chips. And further, she doesn't want you to look down on her and think she's a whore. That's why she's going to hold out on the pussy. That's why women who are not virgins in high school say that they're virgins. That's why you need to buy the black box, which is the story of my life about the pimping. But here's the irony. If they think you're a perfect 10, you want them to give you whatever you want, right? It don't work like that. You dig? But I guarantee you, if you super player, you get the pussy on the second night. Huh? But if you're really player, you don't need to rush. Why? Because if you don't get the pussy on the first night from this girl, you send her ass home and bring in the next bitch.
Facts.
God damn it, it's obvious. This is chess. You got to have multiple pieces on the board. Who in the hell could play chess with one piece? You need to be maneuvering and manipulating. Eminem, talk to me, baby. And there's a lot of pimping from the Bay Area. And if you really player and you really moved around this world, I used to set them hoes down on San Pablo Boulevard, you dig? And also on East 14th. Real niggas know what I'm talking about. Check my background, boy. I'm everything that I say I am, plus a little bit extra. You wouldn't believe it. That's why when the hoes ask me who I am, I tell them you wouldn't believe me if I told you, but watch me.
So this guy's a real life pimp. Makes sense. It's not too many people that can stun me with their knowledge and game.
Anyways, check this out.
Yeah.
Check this out. Where was I before I started talking shit? Oh, here it is. You said, how can you be an 8, right?
Yeah.
If a woman looks at you and says, okay, JIBRIZY, you good looking, you got the body that I like, you got the money game strong, you got the status, but you're a player. And I want a guy who's going to behave and play his part. And I know you're a player. I know you're going to do me wrong. I know you're no good for me. That's when you become an 8. You go from a 10 to becoming an 8. And when you're an 8, that's great because she's going to give you that pussy, right? Because she doesn't have to have that long-term plan. So she says, well, let's just have fun because this is my dream guy. So I'm going to capitalize on this night because I might not have a chance again. And she's not worried about ruining your perspective of her because she already thinks you're a player. So she knows that you're just going to slay her and play her. So she figured I might as well go ahead and get this dick because at the end of the day, I'm not going to get what I want from him, which is monogamy, which is marriage, which is commitment, which is the death of a player.
Damn. That's true.
That's facts. So basically you saying you need status with sex appeal.
Exactly.
You need the
Like,
status.
you can't just be a father status.
Right. Go ahead, MJ.
I'm gonna rank them too. I'm gonna rank them because I'm not gonna bullshit with it.
Right.
Young girls especially, even matter of fact, all of them, they're looking at the looks. Any bitch that tell you, oh, I go for personality first, she fucking lying, nigga. She lying, bro. So when you walked up and you seen me, you seen how good my personality looked.
Let me go ahead and get a youngin some credit, because the youngin said something that was true. The first thing for a hoe is how you look, period. But you have to realize, and if you don't have swagger or mojo or whatever the hell y'all cats are calling it nowadays, if you ain't got that, the it factor, if you don't have the grace, if you don't have that shine on you, you probably wouldn't know anything about what I'm about to tell you, but I'm gonna tell you any goddamn ways. Sometimes a woman looks at you and she sees that you're handsome or attractive, and that's appealing. Sometimes a woman looks at you and she sees that you have something called swagger, which is a way about you, and that is appealing to the woman. Let me give you an example of how you know that you're super player. I was in high school, right? I was in Old Town Pasadena, which is like a shopping strip where people go and stroll around. I saw a chick that used to go to my high school but transferred to another one. And she's like, oh, Marquette, what's up? I haven't seen you in so long. Whoop-de-whoop. And then she says, hey, I just want to tell you I've always had a crush on you. Not surprising. But then she says something else that I thought was very insightful. She says, you know what? I just love the way you talk. I love your hand gestures. I was like, what? She's like, your hand gestures. When you talk to people, I love watching the way you move your hands. And I was like, damn, that's player.
Pimpin'.
That's so player. Because the bitch is basically saying I'm like a composer. When I'm talking, I'm painting the picture for the bitch, and she loves it. She said, nigga, you Van Gogh out here. You Picasso in this motherfucker with the hand gestures. I say that to say the way you are, the way you carry yourself, the way you slide those words out like velvet. You dig?
Now I can't stop looking at his hands. Pause.
The way you move your hands, the way you carry your body, that means something. So there are women that'll look at you and be like, he's not the most handsome guy, but he's striking. When he walks in the room, everybody turns in that direction. His voice is powerful. He's, you know what I'm saying? Like there's something there. And it's not that you're a pretty nigga. It's maybe that you're a real nigga. Or it's maybe that you got so much spirit. So you don't have to rely on being attractive or being cute, because women don't want a cute man. Matter of fact, I hadn't been in the boxing gym for a while. So check this out. The front desk couple, it's a boyfriend and a girlfriend. They both DM me on Instagram. They say, Quet, we haven't seen you in the boxing gym. We're wondering if you're okay, because it's not like you to not show up. I had a lot of business to handle right now. But I looked at the girl's profile because I never really researched her, because she belongs to another man. And I always tell you guys, do not touch the property or women of other men.
I've dated some married girls and girls with boyfriends.
You heard me? Unless they're your enemy. If they're your enemy, fuck that bitch. So anyways, I looked at her profile. She's Miss Nevada, Miss Asia, Miss all these other things. She's won beauty contests, and she's a good looking woman. Her boyfriend is a boxer. His nose has been broken so many times, it's misshapen. He has a deviated septum. You can hear when he's breathing out of his nose because this shit's been crushed so many times. He's not a pretty man. You understand what I'm saying? She's a beauty queen. He's a brute. How does that work? Because women are not looking for beauty. If you act like a bitch, you're going to think like a bitch. And if you think like a bitch, you're going to act like a bitch. What I'm saying is if you have female thoughts, you're going to be projecting the behaviors of a woman onto yourself. You're going to want to be pretty. As a man, you shouldn't want to be pretty. You don't need to look good to a bitch. You need to be a G to a bitch. You need to keep it player with a bitch. That's what they really respect. They don't want your ass wearing makeup and eyeliner. But if you using fake names like you a cartoon character, like this shit is weird to me. So like I don't know how y'all think these niggas are teaching you how to be real when they're living in a fake way.
I can't speak for other people, but for me personally, I don't use my real name because I don't really want things mixing with my professional background. And I might run for office someday.
bullshit is that, man? It always looks. It's always looks. And then you gotta have, like Fitz said, you gotta have the seduction skills. If you don't got that, like, yeah, Steph, you come up there like, yo, where all the confidence went? When she see that shit, that's an automatic turn off. Now that don't matter how good you look, because you ain't getting the pussy wet at the end of the day. So they ain't gonna give it to you. So that's first and foremost. I think the money and the status that could come in later, but these young hoes just want it real quick. That's it.
Gotcha. All right, so let me do this. First of all, I normally take the status out of this debate because that don't apply to the average guy. That's only like less than 1% of the guy.
Stop it. Stop it. Let me correct that. Now, AMS said he takes status out of the equation because status does not apply to the average person. That's not true. When the black box comes out, you're going to read a particular story where my brother's bicycle got stolen and my mom told me to go get it. So I had to call up some of my people and we went around to this block to go retrieve my brother's bike. On this block, there's this cat named Jamal. He was the big homie on this block. Like, he's the OG gangster. Everybody on this block respected this dude, Jamal. I could tell that by the way they would speak about him. And when I asked for the bike back, they said, you got to go through Jamal. He got to okay it. He got to sign off on it. You dig? He had status in that community, which is to say that in high school, if you came to my high school, nigga, I'm the man in this school. I don't care where you came from. I don't care where you had status somewhere else. But in this high school, I'm the man. And I grew up in a ghetto where there's a lot of gangs. So if Drake came to my hood and he started talking about Crip this or Blue Flag that, nobody's going for it. It's going to be all bad. I say that to illustrate the fact that everyone has status in their own little community.
True. Everyone does have status in their own community. When I think of status, I think of something that travels with you. Drake is Drake, not just in Canada, but in the US and in other parts of the country. That is status. Like, people know who he is all over the place, not just in your small neighborhood. Because for me, yeah, I had status in my little neighborhood from just being fly and flashy and funny. But if I went from Harlem and went to Brooklyn, I don't have that status. So I guess you can say my status was on a smaller scale, but I kind of see where AMS was coming from with that.
Or in their own pod. You can build status in a particular closed environment, and I encourage you to do so. So this is what I mean. In the boxing gym, there's some people who are there regularly. They have great rapport. They're very popular within the boxing gym. So if a female comes into our boxing gym, which there are several females in there, and they see that you're the man in the boxing gym, that's the best place for you to spit game at her, because in that environment, you are revered. So everyone has status in a particular closed environment. So you have to find that closed environment in which people respect you and you're viewed in esteem. So status can be something that everyone can appeal to get women. So that is not true when they say only people who are ultra famous have status. That's not the case.
I disagree. If your status is only in a boxing gym and not a lot of women come in that boxing gym, then your status is kind of irrelevant.
That's why you'll often see guys who are unattractive or not very wealthy have a very attractive woman because they met that woman at their job. And at their job, they're respected at their job because they're friendly, because they're competent, because they help other people, right? You see what I'm saying? So status is something that we can all appeal to. And the perspective I'm sharing is very empowering rather than disempowering and basically saying, if your ass ain't Drake, it's too late. You can't get a bitch. JIBRIZY, you bring up many good points, and particularly when you just said sometimes people don't know your status when they first meet you. For example, Jeffrey Epstein was like a billionaire, right? He put away like $500 million in a trust upon his death. He had a lot of money, but Jeffrey Epstein was not famous to the general population until he got charged with those crimes. Before that, no one knew who he was. And as I often point out, people with real money are not well known, right? Very few people would recognize Warren Buffett if he walked down the street.
I would. He's the father of value investing.
The status is nothing. They might not even know the status when you first pull up. And you mentioned being confident. Confidence is everything. Because when you walk up on a bitch super confident, you walk up on the hoe like George Jefferson, You young cats might have to Google that. But when you walk up on a hoe like George Jefferson, she's going to wonder, what is the source of your confidence? Because there must be a source. Why is this man so confident? There must be a reason. And usually there is. But sometimes people are just pretending. And what I can point out to you about a lot of people who have fabulous amounts of money and things like that, we just saw Will Smith get embarrassed in front of the whole world. And when he's not reading off of a script, he's not as engaging. He's not as charming. He's not as impressive. Because when he's reading off of a script, that's the Will Smith you know. He's an actor, professional pretender. But when he's being the man that he really is, you see that he's a beta male. You see he's a softie. You see his bitches running his program instead of just running her mouth. So the thing is, when you approach with confidence, that's going to fuck up a woman's head, because no matter how much money she has, when you approach a woman, it's one person talking to one person. Her banker ain't standing there. You know what I'm saying? Her Instagram followers of 1 million are not standing there. It's you and it's her. If you can make her laugh, you have an advantage. If you can make her intimidated, you have an advantage. It's a mental game. And if you've ever seen the movie Casino, there's a meaningful story that's going on where the guy who owns the casino, Robert De Niro's character, he's very wealthy, very powerful in Las Vegas. And then there's this guy named Lester, which is a small-time hustler. And he basically is pimping out the wife of Robert De Niro. And you have to ask yourself, why is it that Lester, who's not well dressed, he's not good looking, he's not rich, how is he pimping on this bitch, whereas Robert De Niro can't even control the hoe? He can't get the hoe to show him respect. He can't get the hoe to be faithful, because a real player is not a man of money. He's not a man of style. He's a man of intellect and influence. He got in the bitch's head and Dr. Phil'd the bitch.
This is what heavy game sounds like.
And that's the key. It's not all these externalities and these material things. These are things that you use to fill up your inside, because your inside is empty. When you really build up your inside with knowledge, with love, with peace, with spirituality, you don't need any of the bullshit. And the best thing is, if the bullshit, the money, the cars, the women, if all that disappears, you still the big homie. I'm a boss even if I don't run a company. You dig? I got a CEO mindset.
Like that's for the Leonardo DiCaprios and Drake, right?
True.
And that's why I say status, if I was to include it, would be number one, because I think we both can feel that Drake, if Drake was a construction worker or even a teacher, man, y'all know Drake wouldn't be doing what he doing, man.
No,
y'all already know he wouldn't be. Y'all know he. Why I say confidence is number one is because men who have confidence understand that personality and looks are subjective. So if like, say me, for instance, when I say personality, looks, and let's put the money in there too, right? All that is subjective. So what is money? Okay, what's money to one girl might not be money to another girl. So what's 100 grand might be good to this girl, but it might not be shit to a Holly Berry or Eddie Murphy ex-wife, Nicole Murphy. So it's all relative to, as in, if you date one of these girls who want these basketball wives and you make 6 figures, that might not really be no money. What's looks? So what's personality? Some women like a funny dude, some women like more of a masculine dude. So when you put confidence first, the confidence comes in the abundance mindset to understand that women have preferences. And so that's why I say confidence comes number one, because let's say, what's good looking? Is Fit good looking? Steph good looking? Is MJ good looking? Okay, boom. So if that's the truth and they're good looking, then that would say that they never get rejected. Because if you want to say they good looking, then that means that they can't get rejected, because we've made that they are good looking. The fact that they do get rejected.
I'm gonna stop that just because it's a little bit rambling. And when some of my subscribers compare what I'm saying to what AMS says or compares our game, to me, at a certain level, it's an insult, because he was rambling so much when in reality, what he said could have been stated in 20 seconds. He is correct in a few different things, and I want to identify that. He says that attractiveness is a subjective thing. There are a lot of women who think I'm absolutely gorgeous. There's some women who are not impressed. They don't think I'm unattractive. They just don't think I'm absolutely gorgeous. They're not impressed, right? So he's correct about that. That looks on the external side is a subjective matter. Not everyone's going to be feeling you, right? And that's true. Then he goes on to say something that I did not like. He said, if Drake wasn't Drake, if he was a school teacher or a principal or a construction worker, he wouldn't be slaying bitches. I think generally speaking, it's not necessary to speak up on other men like that in a hating fashion, which is to say, let's deal with reality. Don't say if Drake wasn't Drake, Drake is Drake. So show him respect in that he's earned that status. He didn't become Drake accidentally. His status in entertainment is a result of the work he's put out. You see? So let's not hate and try to take away what he is, because Drake is a singer. He's not a principal. He's not a construction worker. What I want to encourage you guys to do is don't be so concerned about your neighbor's grass. And if he's cutting his grass, cut your own motherfucking grass. Focus on your own thing. And that's why I always encourage you to be self-absorbed, not in a negative way, but in a productive way, to ask yourself how you can grow your own fortunes, grow your own reputation, your own physical fitness, and all these other things. And further, pay attention to how I speak. I'm not using fillers like or things like that. I'm not repeating the same ideas. If you listen to people like AMS, and he does give some good knowledge, that is not a good model for articulating yourself. The most dangerous thing on the pimp is the mouthpiece. You heard me? It should be like a sniper. One shot, one kill. You don't need to be a machine gun with a whole bunch of words and be verbose. You need to be precise and succinct, meaning say what you mean what you say. Say it one time, be done. Talking a lot, that's what a hoe does. So he keeps on like basically using all these words, and at the end of the day, there's an African-American saying that comes to mind. You talking, but you ain't saying shit. And to me, that's fucking annoying.
Rejected, just like I get rejected, just like any man get rejected. Right. Let you know that looks are preferences, and that personality is preferences. Some women gonna like that strong, masculine, silent type, and some women not. Some women gonna like a dude that's, not goofy, but talks a little bit more. And so my confidence just comes from the fact that I understand preferences. So I would go confidence number 2. I would go look number 3 because it's you. Money is, listen, if I gotta, listen, like y'all know what my motto is, we fuck them hoes too. Y'all also know we fuck them hoes too. I'm not turning down on fucking women who looking for no beta male providers. They can get the dick too. But you fucking them ain't gonna be the same.
See, check this out. Now, I want to point out to you guys that AMS is talking about, we fuck them hoes too. Hoes looking for a beta male provider. We fuck them hoes too. All right, fellas. Hey, I love talking shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. And if a motherfucker can mimic me, hey, send me a video. I love it. Now, the thing that's peculiar about AMS is that you're gonna downplay the beta male provider, right? But you're still willing to fuck the women that they deal with, right? You're gonna say that this woman has low value, but you're still willing to fuck her. What does that say about you, huh? That you basically say this woman is not worthwhile, this woman is low, but you're still willing to fuck her. Especially at his age is disheartening. Now me, I turn down more pussy than most people are offered. Real shit. The reason is because at a certain level, baby, you can't get this candy muscle, baby. This ain't for everybody. You got to earn this dick. You got to get to the top of the mountaintop to get this dick, bitch. And more importantly, when you're thinking with your dick, your lower head, this head is turned off. So when these guys are chasing around women, they will follow a road to destruction. Because if you're chasing a woman, that means she's out in front. And if she's out in front, that means she's the leader. And that is ass backwards. So don't ever chase the ass because you'll fall into a booty trap.
Booty trap.
Not a booby trap. Now, what I'm trying to tell you guys is there's nothing wrong with engaging with a lot of women physically, especially if you're being safe about it. In fact, I spent the whole last couple of days fucking the living daylights out of a thick ass Puerto Rican. She claimed she was also Native American. I don't know, but she was definitely Puerto Rican if you saw the shape on her. Now, I fucked her till I couldn't fuck no more, man. Had a great time. But the thing is, if you're pursuing women based on sex, you're lost. That's the lowest value they can offer. Let me tell you why. Check this out. You might also want to write this shit down. Every woman on the planet Earth has a vagina. So how in the hell is that a value she can offer you if everyone has one? If you're a real man, you're searching for a woman who has qualities, skills, and intelligence to advance your goals. That's a pimp's perspective. He doesn't look at a woman and want to pimp on her because she has a vagina. Every woman has a vagina. Huh? So it's not valuable. Use your head. You're thinking like a low-class animal, an animal in heat, a thirsty individual, and a woman will never respect you. The reason a pimp has so much power over a bitch is because pussy has no power over a pimp. That's why. And if you ever talk to a whore, not a whore, excuse me, let me be correct. If you ever talk to a bona fide prostitute, they have no respect for men. None. They only have respect for pimps. That's a higher class of man. Why is that? Because prostitutes spend their time deceiving, tricking, manipulating, and controlling men based on a man's drive for vagina. They enslave the male through the male's carnal desire for vagina. Whereas a pimp, they have no influence over, because a pimp is almost like a saintly monk who needs no vagina, but is willing to accept the vagina on rare instances, merely to let that woman touch God for a brief moment so she can feel the divine. But never will a pimp go out of his way to act like he's a porn star. And never will a pimp run around chasing the cat. That's what we don't do. We're not dogs. We're men.
This kind of game you can't read in the book. Look at this video. I've never made an hour-long video, but y'all need to hear this.
Look, we gonna get back to. I'm gonna cool y'all off. This how I'm gonna cool y'all off. I'm gonna play some StephIsCold, some AMS, and some. I'm gonna cool y'all off. I didn't break you down. I'm gonna cool y'all off. So here we go. I'm gonna cool y'all off straight up.
Same way that the way they fuck you ain't gonna be the same way the girls who are into you gonna fuck you.
Exactly.
So that's why I put money forth, because getting that beta male provider pussy ain't the same thing as getting that physical attraction pussy.
Very
so
true.
That's why I say I would go looks 3 and then money 4.
Okay.
What y'all got to say about that?
Well, okay, I agree. But like I just took back on what FedEx said, like about the status thing. The only reason why I say status is number one is because chicks flock to that shit. Like they it's just like a dude. And yeah, you're right, AMS. Status is not the average dude. When we talk about the average dude on YouTube, nobody knows him. He go to school, go to work out, come home. At the average guy, most of these dudes ain't even got Instagram. You know what I'm saying? But see, a chick will reject you and then see your Instagram or your Twitter and then hop on your meat. Why? Because status. Yeah, you might, and then you might even be handsome. Like, okay, handsome, but I got a boyfriend. Oh, he handsome. I ain't in the mood right now. I'm gonna just reject him. And then,
yo, this shit is hella corny to me. Hella corny. Let me tell you what I really think. And look, you can tell I'm not trying to be a YouTuber, because if I was trying to be a YouTuber, I'd probably be buddy with these boys. Yeah. I clearly have no respect. And that's when you can tell you're talking to a real motherfucker. Because I'm not trying to be buddy. I have no respect for what they're saying. And here's why.
But I am trying to be a YouTuber. And the truth is, I wouldn't sleep well at night if I didn't give you the best game possible. Even if it's not mine. Next level game. Pimp game. I was never no pimp.
My guy just basically said, well, if a woman checks out your Instagram, if she checks out your Snapchat, What kind of cornball internet ass shit is that? Like, come on, man. Like, you need a mobile application to get you a bitch? You couldn't get you a bitch before people created Snapchat?
And this is the perfect spot for me to address this.
My consultation client said that he approached this chick that was walking very fast. And he tapped her purse. He tapped her shoulder, then he tapped her purse. He turned around like, what? That's one reason why I don't go to approach. Women freak out. She freaked out. What are you doing? What you doing? I don't do that.
One, you told your client not to approach because tapping somebody on the shoulder scared them. If you tap me on the shoulder, you gonna scare me. If you tap my book bag or a woman's purse, they might assume you trying to rob him. That doesn't make any sense, bro. There's a finesse involved when it comes to touching women. Some men have it. I don't. I don't touch women when I try to talk to them.
Every chick that I done got in my life gave me some sort of... Even the chicks that broke my heart. The chicks I talked about, the girl that broke my heart, they both gave me choosing signals.
And that's how StephIsCold became black pill. He's not red pill. He's black pill. And I don't really like talking about the pills, but when Alan Roger Curry broke this down in a video, I was like, it makes so much sense now. So what is black pill? I got it up right here. A state of mind brought upon by the realization of harsh truth, seeing reality society for what it truly is beyond the illusion of equality. We are led to believe it is the understanding that life is ultimately unfair and the winners and losers are determined, for the most part, by circumstances beyond one's control. Looks, wealth, mental condition, height, race, family, luck, etc. But what am I? I'm purple pill. I was red pill, but I got a lady. I'm good. I'm an assist man now. I don't do all that jumping out and cold approaching and all that stuff that I used to do. But the difference is the way I became red pill is not the same way Steph became black pill, or which I call red pill. I became red pill because I've dated women with boyfriend, I've dated married women, I've slept with women in their husband's bed. And I've realized that, naturally, most women ain't, but there are some good ones. And do I know if I picked a good one? Only time will tell. But I do know that I'm happy, and that's the only thing that matters to me. So when I go out to the club, if I see something that I like, and I want my mans to go get it, I don't have no problem talking to the fat chick, because I'm there to have a good time, hang out with my boys, and to help them out. And that's the same reason why it works really well when I go out in the field and I help out clients.
That's what she's saying. And then the other chick, I used to go over to my pop's house. I called him my pops. And we all be in the basement talking. And she'd be in the basement, and she'd just be staring at me. When I be talking to my so-called pops about sports, she'd just be staring at me. When I be playing the game, she'd just be staring at me. I didn't make the approach then, but I was too scared to make the approach then. I slid in the DM.
Y'all be pissing me off with this shit. Because, I didn't keep the receipt where he said he paid for coaching calls with AMS. But he's 23. This is recently. Like, he was afraid to talk to a girl in his house, giving him choosing signals. But y'all comparing me to StephIsCold. Like, how is he giving dating advice? Seriously. But y'all saying he knows what he's talking about, and I don't. I literally started getting girls when I was 13.
There's some dudes in the comment section, so you mean to tell me you're gonna wait for choosing? Nah, I ain't waiting for choosing signals. I'm so cold, she gonna give me choosing signals, nigga.
Yeah, okay. Sure. 5'6", short guy with muscles is getting choosing signals by everybody. He's got a Napoleon complex.
I don't go to the club. I don't pick up chicks at the club. I don't. It's either at the gym, the store, and my business events.
Why doesn't he pick up girls at the club? Because he has no game. And those choosing signals that he's so cold that he gets, he doesn't get them in the club. Because if you got choosing signals and girls were choosing on you in the club, why wouldn't you go to the club? Do you not like talking to women now?
Business events, they be choosing. When you become so cold, the chicks that's 8, 9s, and 10s will slide in your DMs. First, let me tell you a story a chick did at one of my business events. I went up to the front to speak about how much money I made in a month in my health results. The white lady with some big ass titties staring at me, just staring. Big old, big titties, white lady, hella strapped. I'm like looking around the room and I look back at her, she's staring at me. And I get it, Stefan, you're the center of attention. Of course she's gonna stare at you. But nah, bruh. After the event, she was staring at me. I get in my car, she liking all my pictures. She followed me on Instagram. 2 days later, she commented on one of my stories and said, "You caught my eye." I'm like, what you mean? I asked this woman named Kimmy, who is this handsome chocolate man here? That is choosing signals.
So if y'all want to say my game is not as advanced as this guy that's a pimp, I'm cool with that. Because he's spitting. But don't ever disrespect me on some StephIsCold. He doesn't know what he's talking about. This is laughable. So he got choosing signals because he was the center of attention, talking about how much money he made on stage, and then still didn't approach this woman. So if she didn't have his Instagram, he wouldn't be talking to this girl. How do y'all not get it? How many choosing signals did he need before he decided to grow up here and actually reach out to her? He didn't. She had to comment and talk to him first.
I mean, to me, it's ludicrous. And when you're a real player, you're sitting back here listening to this like, okay, dog, you got to go meet a bitch. Tell her your name. Tell her to search your name on the internet. And then maybe you can get some pussy a couple days later once you reconnect with the hoe. Whereas me, I'm pulling up on a bitch, drop a little bit of game on her, ask her what she doing, convert that meeting into a date, and then slay her all night. Huh?
I talk about that on my video. Invite her back over. Skip the date.
Come on, man. That's ludicrous. And also, let me be sure. When a woman sees that you have to play the social media or the internet game, she is seeing through you. She will know who you really are. Let me give you an example, bro. I could have a bitch Google me and she could find me giving speeches in Korea or me being like floated around in China by the Chinese government with cameras following, taking photos and shit. Yeah. But the real question is, if I'm really that nigga, when I meet the bitch, why doesn't she feel the star power right then? If I'm really a star, why she don't feel the star power when she meet me? Why she needs to Google to find star power? If you really that shit, they could smell it. You heard me? If you really got the swag juice, it should be dripping. You don't need a bitch to Google online. She should be able to tell that by the mouthpiece. She should be able to tell that by the way you walk around the building. She should be able to tell that by the way you interact with people, the way people react to you. If you need a bitch to Google your name on the internet for you to get some pussy, you really ain't what you say you are. And what I can also tell you, all these dudes that I'm critiquing right now, they have way more followers than I do. Way more. But in the real world, I got way more money than all of them. I got way more status than all of them. I'm way more well-traveled, way more educated, all of that. But I don't need to say that to you because if the 4 of us or the 5 of us were in a room together, they would clearly bow down.
I don't know about bowing, but they got to recognize that this is some advanced level shit.
Huh? Because the big dog is obvious. I ain't got to say I'm the big dog. If all 5 of us were in the room, they would defer to me. Why? Because it's obvious I'm the big homie. Anyways, one thing I love is when Alpha Male Strategy says, what y'all think about that? What y'all think about that? This nigga right here, this is a country ass nigga, man. Look, shout out to my people in the South, but that's a country nigga. AMS. I don't know how you getting any bitches in New York talking about. Hey, look, what you think about that? Like, come on, it's ludicrous, y'all. It's ludicrous. Look, we gonna get back to AMS.
It's a different swag. I'm a New Yorker. I like the New York swag. Some girls like New York swag in the South. Some girls don't.
What? Now she on you. Now, yeah, that's not for the average guy though. So I agree with you saying right there. You know what I'm saying? But everything else, I agree with everything else. I just disagree with the status. I feel like the status is like FedEx, MJ. We can all speak on that. Like chicks DM us all the time on Instagram.
I'm be honest with you. I had 10K from party promoting way before a lot of people. So I had a decent number of followers on my Instagram, and I never got DMs from girls. And I'm just curious how he knows what these guys get in their DMs, because he don't know them like that.
Just because of status. You know what I'm saying? Just because of that, because it's intriguing to them. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I say on that.
Okay, all right. So let me touch on this a little bit. So we got.
You know what's tripping me out? What's tripping me out, fellas, is that if these are your idols, they're not talking about spitting game at all. So how are you a pickup artist if you don't spit game? Huh? How are you guiding young men and getting women if you're saying that status is the end-all be-all and chicks are DMing you on Instagram, but your followers don't have a large Instagram following? So how are they going to get a bitch if it's all about status?
Like when AMS said, if you got a 4-girl rotation. And I'm like, bro, most of your subscribers don't have a 4-girl rotation. If they did, they would not be listening to you. I did not start listening to dating advice until I decided that, oh, I can probably teach this, after I started teaching a few people. Off of love, like showing people how to actually approach. Then I started to research and see like, oh, this is actually something that's being done. I wasn't getting females and then decided, oh, I need to go and learn how to date. I already knew what I was doing.
See, the thing is, these guys are charlatans. They read a book, and then they start preaching from the book, and then you guys started listening to them as though it's gospel. But it's not really church. It's a synagogue of Satan.
I ain't gonna lie, you lost me, bro. You on some loaded luck shit. You gonna get this work.
You gonna get this work, nigga. I killed you. Hold up. You gonna get this work.
What I'm telling you is how to go out in this world and really convert you a bitch. And if you really pick up on the game I'm kicking, the same game that'll help you convert a woman is the same game that'll help you talk your way in or out of any situation. It's the same game that'll help you close a business deal. But if these motherfuckers is on here, they ain't mentioned spitting game one time.
Now, I said that in my top 10 dating coach video towards the end. Now, the Saint in the Center is obviously not in the top 10 because I found his page yesterday, but he'll definitely be in it next year.
Not one time have they mentioned spitting game to a bitch. How you gonna be a player? I don't even understand how you could use such a word if you don't spit game. To me, it's ludicrous. Just have to throw that in there real quick. I'm gonna try to play them at length so we can hear a little bit more of what they're saying.
Got that out of the way. One thing I've been getting all guys been asking me a lot, and I've been getting this a lot. I know y'all been getting this a lot. Ain't during this pandemic. A lot of guys how to maintain their relationships during this damn pandemic. They want to know, do you got to go up and approach it with the mask on? All this other bullshit. Girls don't want to come over, quarantine. How y'all guys holding up with that?
Go ahead, Fidel.
Oh, bro. All right, so y'all know I'm 4 day now. I feel like this is easy pickings for guys who have already gotten their shit together. You have a good profile online, bro. Ever since quarantine, I still been fucking bitches. It has nothing that stopped me. Nothing has slowed down. So, to me, it's even easier. It's a bigger excuse. Oh no, you want to go out to dinner? You want to go out for some drinks? Nah, baby, we can't go nowhere. Everything closed. Just come on over. So if you have a good profile, I think this is the time to shine, bro.
Hey, look, really? Marquette, look, after you said that, look, I'm a nigga with a good profile.
Right.
Let me just say, what is this nigga talking about?
Hey, Magic, let me brag for you real quick. Magic has over 1 million followers on Facebook, like over 250,000 on Instagram. I don't know what you got. You probably got 1 million on TikTok. This nigga got a good profile. Now talk your shit, Magic.
Let me just say this, right? And you know what I can tell, these guys ain't got no game. Ain't none of them ever talk about spitting the knowledge of how they got to where they got to a woman, or are listening, and they're not even using like listen to what she wants and then figure out how you can maneuver your knowledge to help her get to where she has to go. Take for instance, there's a girl whom I met, whom she was having a struggle with her career in terms of music. Met me. I said, yo, let me educate you on how this stuff works. Educated her on how it works. First video, boom, girl got 60,000 followers. First video. And at the same time, I'm leveraging her to make money, right? Then at this,
that's the pimping.
So I'm like, you talking about status? I'm like, yo, son, show her how to get the status. Then she'll be looking at you the entire time because you're the source. She don't know how to do it herself. Most women don't want to sit there and take the time out to learn like men do.
Obviously, in the interest of time, I cut down a lot of it, but I Googled him. He's legit.
When you see your brother winning, shout out your brother. When you see me being critical of the game that StephIsCold, AMS, and FitX is spitting, I'm not being critical of these brothers. I'm proud of them. They're ascending in their vertical, and that's good. When I say vertical, I mean their business industry. But what I am not going to do is I'm not going to let mistruth be spread to the youth. I will not allow corruption to be spread in the land. So what I'm doing is I'm correcting misinformation so that you all may get pure knowledge and thrive by that knowledge. So I hope you don't understand this to be hating, understand it to be a critique, because I guess we're all in the industry and we're all in the field. You have some professors and then you have the professor emeritus, right? You have a novice and then you have the expert. So this is the big homie, the one and only, correcting what is incorrect. We're going to go ahead and get back to AMS, StephIsCold, and FitX right now. So let me go ahead and play it. We're going to get back to this critique.
Bro, it can have the perfect excuse.
Facts. That's how, this is the thing, though. This is the thing with that. Guys is asking, okay, well, how do I maintain her interest and stuff, right? But it's like, when you meeting these new females, they're experiencing the pandemic too. These hoes out here is lonely and they looking for dick. So like Fitz said, if your profile is on point and you on the online dating, my nigga, they trying to get out of pocket on purpose. They not looking to talk to you.
Stop it right now. Stop it right now. I had to stop that because he used some language of the pimping. He said these hoes are trying to get out of pocket, but he used it incorrectly. And that's what bothers me. Like, I don't try to imitate other people's identity. I don't want anyone imitating my identity. Out of pocket, in reality, what this term actually means is to say a woman's getting out of control. She's misbehaving. She's getting out of line and a pimp needs to put her ass back in line. That's what out of pocket means. So he's actually used this terminology incorrectly. The reason that age and experience is so important, and you can't Google experience, you got to come to a motherfucker who really has it. When he's using the terms of the pimping incorrectly, it's because he heard it and it sounded cool, but he's never been a practitioner of the art. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why it's so important that you go to the true source, the genuine article. And that's why it bothers me to hear these motherfucking charlatans on here talking like they understand bitches, when really they don't. Let me tell you something else he said incorrectly. He said, these hoes are out here looking for dick. That's not true. That's not true. If these hoes were looking for dick, more of you niggas would be getting pussy.
Facts.
Huh? If they were looking for dick. I'll tell you what these hoes are really looking for. They're looking for love. Men are looking for pussy, yeah, but women are looking for love. That's why they try to get you into a marriage, to trap you, because they want commitment. Women are not driven by the physicalities. Are there some women that are out looking for dick and they're easy to sleep with? Absolutely, but that's the top level. If you look underlying, why is she so interested in getting physical? To fulfill a need in her. The need to feel loved and connected. Why? Because in childhood, she was not loved and connected. She didn't feel love from her father. She didn't feel connected to a family. So now she's using the physical intimacy as a proxy to simulate the feeling of connectedness. Huh? So she's using the physical warmth of a body, that embrace, because sex used to be something that came after the connection. It used to be something that came after the marriage, which means in those cases, you already knew a woman, right? You knew her mentally, emotionally. You had a real bond. You had a spiritual bond, and then you consummated the bond with a physical connection. And that's why you have women who are being promiscuous. They're using the physical connection to simulate the emotional connection, because that's something they don't have. That's something that's harder to find. And they're really trying to fulfill something that was left empty in childhood, because women who are raised right by good parents and a strong father, they're not out there hoeing looking for attention. I can guarantee you of that. You find these hoes on Instagram with their ass hanging out. You find girls walking around Las Vegas with them jean shorts and them booty cheeks clapping. Those are hoes who were not properly reared by a father. Those are hoes who are seeking attention. Women are never seeking dick. Dick might represent something to them, but most women are seeking love. And that is not negotiable. And the reason you should know that is because a pimp does not control a woman with his dick. A pimp controls a woman with his mouthpiece, and he uses his mouthpiece to reach into her psyche. And upon rearranging her psyche to his liking, he leverages her heart and sticks his talons into her heart so that he's the only one who can control her. And he controls her through emotions, because emotions are irrational. That's why a pimp can push a woman to the edge to do crazy, extraordinary things. Because if she was thinking, if he was controlling the mind only, she would think her way out of a bad situation. She would think her way and say, why am I giving him all my money? Why am I going out risking my life on a hoe stroll? But she's not thinking. The brain is turned off. The heart is turned on. He's controlling the heart. Women are creatures of love and trust. So when he says these chicks are chasing dick, that's elementary game. That's a motherfucking kindergarten game right there, man. That's some bullshit. I don't know how he could tell you that. So the big homie is telling you the real. So when you game up a bitch, you be a fool to tell her about your dick game. I've never in my life bragged to a bitch about my dick game. And I ain't no slacker. I ain't gonna say I'm a slacker, man. I pulled a few tricks on a few hoes, you dig? I done some shit a chick had to tell her mom about, you heard me? You know what I'm saying? I done some shit. Hey, but check this out. I never brag on my dick game, because it's not about fucking a woman's body. It's about fucking a woman's mind. That's the pimping. You heard me? Put your dick in her mind, huh? Quote me on that. Put your dick in her mind.
I'm gonna come over. You already Lysol the house? Good. Because I'm looking to suck your dick. That's what they with. That's what they fucking with.
Well, this is the thing with me, why I tell guys all the time. Y'all guys got to understand, everything with women is attraction. These motherfuckers will come over in a goddamn blizzard if the attraction is on point. Yeah, fucking, if you say, hey, listen, I need you to crawl over here on your hands and knees to see daddy. If the attraction is there, they'll do it. When y'all guys run into these women, all of a sudden the pandemic, they don't want to come over because of the pandemic and shit, you basically are letting them use that as an excuse not to see you. So now guess what?
But them not wanting to come over during a pandemic has nothing to do with your attraction level. It has everything to do with how she feels about you. If she sees you as somebody that she likes from right here, like the pimp said, she's coming over. You could be ugly or cute. If she likes you, she's going to go out of her way to make sure she sees you and makes you happy.
AMS actually said something that was very meaningful and insightful, and I want to reiterate what he said. Often we don't want to deal with the truth. Motherfuckers are saying, hey, Marquette, how do I catch up with this hoe? She said she don't want to meet up because it's COVID-19. Shit. That bitch don't want to meet up because you ain't gamed her up enough. You heard me? Because I tell you what, man. COVID-19 ain't killing young hoes. COVID-19 is killing people with immune system issues and people who are senior citizens, right? So a hoe ain't scared of no goddamn COVID-19. A hoe is using that as an excuse. But check this out. She must think you're boo-boo the fool, right? Because she done told you some dumb shit and you went for it. Because a real nigga knows if a girl is feeling you, hey, she'll do whatever, man. And a really important thing that I highly recommend you do if you have a woman, because you have to realize, bitches are like a breast implant. They might look good on the outside, but they're fake on the inside. You need to make sure that everything is real. So you always have to put a hoe to the test, you dig? So you should always make demands of your women and make sure that they are constantly being retrained and conditioned to be subservient, submissive, and in the orientation of servicing you and your needs, being focused on what you want. You understand? So when I say that COVID-19 has never stopped a nigga from getting laid, hey, if a girl is feeling you, she'll show up. And a matter of fact, if you told the bitch, I have COVID-19, I want you to come suck my dick, she should come and suck COVID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all the way through COVID-19 out your dick. And I'm such a boss that if I was on my deathbed and I told my bitches, I want you all to come with me, I'm out of this motherfucker, you gotta go too. We all dying together. Them hoes is gonna go ahead and do it. That's why, because check this out. Look at history. History is a great teacher. How is it you can't get a bitch to come to your house when Jim Jones can get thousands of people to commit suicide and have their kids commit suicide?
Not the rapper dumbass. This Jim Jones.
If you don't know who Jim Jones in the People's Temple is, Google that. I'm dropping real knowledge. You heard me? If you can't get a bitch to come over to your house, how is it that Jeffrey Epstein can organize 30 to 40 adult white women to bring him hundreds of teenage white girls for him to have sexcapades around the world with? If men can do these big, grand, crazy things, how come you can't get one goofy bitch to come to your house to take some pipe? You need to be real. It's not COVID-19, it's you. Huh? And I'm not saying that to put you down or to disrespect you. I'm saying that to make your ass get real and realize you didn't lay the game down on the bitch correctly. You didn't make demands of the bitch correctly, huh? You got to really dig in. You didn't study the bitch correctly. Because once you really dug into a bitch and you created rapport, they'll do anything you need. Why is that? Because that's their actual fucking nature. That's what they were put here on earth to do. But you got to be one who demands it and say nothing less will do. I won't accept anything less than complete submission. Let me give you a good example. When white Americans enslaved Africans, people who are today called African Americans, when they enslaved Africans, they didn't say, hey, sometimes we're going to be friends. No, they said, I'm always the master. You're always the slave. That never changes. And if you step outside of that, you're going to catch a whip. It's important. Every relationship has a dynamic. If you enforce it, the person on the weaker side of the relationship will submit, but you must be strong and consistent. And if you have rules, you must give consequences when those rules are broken. You understand? So with a woman, knowing she's a heart-driven animal, you must dig into her heart by listening to her, finding out what she wants, deliver what she wants, and when she does not do what you want, remove the attention, remove the affection, become cold, give her the snowman shoulder. You dig? Have that bitch sipping on a milkshake in a snowstorm. You heard me? So look, if you are a real player, you're an ultimate mastermind. You need to look from the clouds, look down on this bitch and see everything involved in her life and understand how to move around those different pieces. You need to look at her and realize she has a weak relationship with her mother and father and her sister. So she feels isolated. That means you get to be her whole family. You need to step into that space. You see what I'm saying? You really need to make a thorough analysis of her situation so you can fill in the gaps and become a linchpin. There's a book by Seth Godin. It's called Linchpin. What is a linchpin? A linchpin is a mechanism within a mechanical system that is required for the system to work. Meaning, if you're removed from her life falls apart. You have to make her dependent on you, dependent on your knowledge, dependent on your love, dependent on your stability, dependent on your encouragement. Shit. We're going to get back to AMS, FitX, and...
That encouragement is strong.
You feel me?
Encouragement is strong. Them pastors be getting all types of women with that encouragement.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. And women need the encouragement because they have low self-esteem. But do not confuse encouragement with validation. See, I don't ever encourage women about their physical attractiveness. Why? Because I don't give a shit about their physical attractiveness. Because 9 out of 9, they're not as fine as the finest bitch I fucked. 9 out of 9, they're not that fine. So I don't even need to speak up on it, right? More importantly, the moment you start complimenting her physical, you're giving her an advantage because most men succumb to the physical because they're pussy chasers. Hey, they say you are what you eat. These niggas is chasing, hunting down pussy. That's what they are. I don't hunt down the pussy. I hunt down the value, the financial value, the intellectual value, the emotional support. I hunt down all those things. But what JIBRIZY said is true in that if you can encourage a woman, what I mean by that is don't validate the exterior. Ask the bitch, what are your goals? You should have goals. The bitch should also have goals. Most of her goals should be to serve you, but the goals that she does have, encourage her to make progress. And as you help her make progress, guess what? You're adding value to her life. Your position will be undeniable because you will help her achieve things she's never achieved before. Everyone is thankful for people who actually add value, and that applies to men and women.
They able to get communication out of you because we're not allowed to say non-sexual attention no more. We're not allowed. So let's just say communication. We're not allowed to do non-sexual attention.
No, we can't say that word, y'all.
No, we can't say that word no more. So we're just gonna go with communication. So they able to get communication out of you in your time without them putting anything in. See, the thing is, you give them communication for that ass. And so what ends up happening is they able to get communication out of you young guys, because they damn sure ain't gonna get none out of me and my boys, but out of you young guys, and y'all sit there able to talk to them, and that's what they want to do, sit there and talk to your ass. No, you come over here and drop them drawers and give me some of that ass.
Okay, so check this out, fellas. This is how I know that they're not dealing with a volume of women, and this is how I know they're not dealing with high quality women, because this shit doesn't even sound reasonable. I'm gonna repeat what they said. These guys said, I do not talk to a woman unless she's giving me sexual attention. If she's not giving me sexual attention, I'm not talking to her. I'm only telling her to come over to drop them draws. So let me get this straight. You're telling me that you're not even going to communicate with a broad. You're not going to get familiar with her. You're not going to figure out if she's worth your time. You're not going to learn anything about her. You're not going to spit game at her. You're just going to tell her to come over and fuck. How many hoes y'all know that's like that? That you just tell the bitch, come over and fuck. How many decent, worthwhile women have you met where you could just say, come over here and get this dick? That's not even realistic. And I'm not going to lie to you. Have I caught a few chicks who just off of the swag wanted to catch the dick? Absolutely. Have I caught a few chicks in high school who literally said, I just want to fuck you because you that nigga? Yeah, absolutely. But they observe me on a regular basis. It's so rare that you meet a woman and then tell her, hey, come over, let's fuck. That doesn't happen in real life very often. That's like, out of all of the chicks you deal with, that's like 8%. So if he's saying as a primary aspect of his like sex experience, he's just not giving women non-sexual attention, meaning he's not communicating with them regularly on mundane topics, getting to know them, and he's just saying, come over and get this dick. To me, that sounds like a lie. Like, I've dealt with a tremendous number of hoes, not only in America, I've dealt with hoes in Puerto Rico, in Panama, in Costa Rica, in South Africa, in Tanzania, in Zanzibar, in China, in South Africa. Motherfucker, I know hoes. I know hoes in all flavors. And I ain't met none of the hoes this nigga's talking about. Somehow he got the magical hoes who just show up, ta-da, and give you the pussy without you putting in any work at all. That's amazing. Let me hear what you guys think. Have you guys met any of these hoes that's just throwing the pussy out? Good, because I need to meet these hoes.
Hey, look, even if they, okay, no.
Right? Like, let me know. Like, what I'm trying to understand what they're saying. Because as far as I've understood the game, a woman's going to come over and fuck you straight away if she's a complete whore. Generally, I don't want that woman. Other women, you have to actually get to know them at some level, offer them some value for them to figure out if you're more worth fucking than the other 10 guys that are trying to fuck.
I have met some of them, but like he said, They might have been hoes, but it is what it is.
Because even to that degree, they've observed me, my pattern. It's always like they either made an observation and took a good amount of time. It's been in person. We've actually spoken. None of that, man. I haven't had that. What about you two fellas?
Yeah, I can't say that I have. I mean, to a degree, it's why would you want someone so easy? I mean, the whole purpose is to really define that value, and anything that's free a lot of times doesn't have very much value. So if anything that's quick
Right.
or easy, I mean, it's not even really something you brag about. Like, you think about what they call the community bike or the community hoe or whatever. Like, no one wants to brag about that, but it seems like these gentlemen are taking pride in that and actually flaunting that, which really speaks about themselves and what standards that they hold for themselves. Which, I mean, that's why I appreciate you coming on, being real 100% about it, and just calling a spade, calling it what it is. So yeah, I have to agree with that.
Absolutely. And I think that when you're on YouTube and you're giving people an inaccurate image of the world, you're mischaracterizing females, which is just dishonest. And you're also giving false hope to young men that they can basically disrespect a bitch and talk to a bitch recklessly and then expect her to show up and want to give up some pussy. It's just not realistic. Now, if you're one of my patrons and you subscribe at www.patreon.com/thesaintandthesinner, where you can get exclusive content, I have a series on the pimping, right? I think it's like 5 videos. You'll hear me talking to a hoe, trying to knock me a new hoe. And when you're listening to it, you might consider what I'm saying disrespectful, but in that line of work, that's the language, right? You're talking to a bitch, that's a job description. Like, you talking to a hoe, that's her motherfucking job title. So it's not disrespectful. That's how a pimp talks to a bitch. But if you're talking to a square female and you're talking recklessly, that's not going to get you anywhere. I can assure you, being smooth with it, being a gentleman, being higher in the way you conduct yourself as opposed to being base and vulgar, you always have an advantage. Sure, there's some low-class hoes. They might like you to speak in Ebonics all the time, like you to curse all the time. But 9 out of 9, if you keep your language clean and sophisticated, you can pretty much crack any bitch that you want. You understand what I'm saying? I say it's better to start high because you can always go low if you start high. But if you start low, you can't really go high. So what I'm saying is you can start off as a gentleman and turn into a savage, right? But you can never start as a savage and turn into a gentleman. You see what I'm saying? A woman likes to know that you're refined, but you got a little bit of thug in you. But you can never be a thug and try to act like you got some professor in you. You see what I'm saying?
And then we'll give you some conversation while I'm hitting it from the back. And see, that's what the young guys got to understand. Women are constantly trying to get communication out of you without putting anything in. All right? Now, when they have high attraction, you don't have to ask for that. But a lot of these women, guys, they try to use you. They want something in return too. Let's be honest. All right, most women, I know I'm on with 3 sex gods, but the average woman do not come doing sex.
Facts.
Not all the time. It's mostly gonna be us men, right? I know they come every time with fit. I know, right?
No, let's not get there.
Right?
No.
But most of the time, the sex benefit us, and they don't get to come out of it, right? And so, as far as that aspect of it, they get very little out of it except the intimacy, right? And so that's what they're trying to do. They want to get some, and you want to get some. So make sure you hold your communication valuable, because women trying to get it for nothing. Okay, guys? So they ain't doing the pandemic or whatever, guys. Don't let women use you and just getting communication from you without them putting something into it also.
Okay, folks. So I say, shout out to AMS. He's correct in that women love talking. They love communicating. And as I've often said, if you're working towards your goals, you should be busy. Unless you've achieved all of them, then you should set some new ones and continue being busy. If you're a real man and you have male nature, you're not focused on trivialities. Female nature is to focus on trivialities. And what I mean is this. I hope the young lady's not listening to this as I speak, And if you are listening to this shit, I told you not to listen to this. So you better pretend you didn't hear this shit. I got one chick who just got a cat. Now me, I say, you don't need a cat because your place is going to be less clean. You're going to have cat hair all over the place. You're going to have another expense. You're going to have more responsibility. It's just not something that's going to add true value to your life. Really, animals and pets, in my estimation, are psychological devices. You got people calling their dog their best friend. If you're a human being, your best friend should be another human. The reason your best friend is a dog is because for some reason, psychologically, you need something you can control, right? Because your friend might one day say something you don't like. Your dog is always happy to see you. Every time you show up, your dog jumps up, is happy to see you. Your dog only loves and respects you because you've broken its nature and you forced it to come to you for its very food. It can't even feed itself. In reality, the dog might not even like your ass, but you're forcing it to come to you for food. So anyways, this chick got a cat. She sends me videos of the cat. Have I responded to any of them? No. She made comments about the cat. Have I responded to it? No. Why? Because I'm a man. I'm focused on manly ideas, ideas of progress, meaningful things. I'm not going to talk about your goddamn cat. I don't give a shit about your cat. Guess what? I'm clearly conveying I don't give a fuck about your cat. Another woman might have responded to her, oh, that's so cute. Well, Marquette doesn't give a fuck about your cat. And guess what? Did she get mad about that? Nah. Because before she sent that shit, she knew I didn't give a fuck about her cat. So she just going to have to take that. You dig? And what I'm saying to you, and I'm elaborating on what AMS failed to elaborate on, which is to say, don't engage in idle female or gossip-based or meaningless conversation. Talk about things that are giving you meaningful intel or information about her. Talk about your goals or talk about her goals. But don't just talk just to talk, because then your words have no meaning, because you're always talking and you're always accessible. And no one values that which is easy to access.
I promise y'all, my goal was to get this down to an hour. But he just says so many things that are so true that I don't know where to cut.
That is that articulation I always talk about. Like, that is missing from a lot of these videos. You didn't keep it vague. You actually were very specific in which type of conversation not to engage with.
Appreciate that. And you're right. It's if a leader gives you a generality, you cannot execute that practically in your life. So shout out to the brother right now who's said AMS and I have things in common, because we do. That's factual. Mm-hmm. I hope, though, that people are cognizant of the fact that I'm spitting graduate level game. This ism, I'm talking this at a high level. And I'm also giving you the practical steps that you can execute. I say that because if I take my time to hammer a piece of coal into a diamond, I want my respect for that. If I go and work 8 hours, I want my pay for that. So that's why I'm very much so emphasizing like that shit right here. Don't compare this to that other shit, because that's not the Rolls Royce of the game. This is the Rolls Royce of the game right here. And everybody can't afford a Rolls Royce. You wonder why that nigga got more followers. Everybody could get a motherfucking Toyota. This is the Rolls Royce right here. Everybody ain't got that exquisite taste. This is only for the saints, baby. But yeah, AMS does share some good game. That's exactly why James recommended that we chop this up, so that we can take some of the good things he said and elaborate, so you can actually put it into play. And also some of the things that are errant that have been said by the whole group, we can say, hey, that's not real. That's some shit that I've only heard in a fairy tale. I don't know any bitches where you can say, hey, I'm not going to call you to have any conversation. Just come over here, show up in knee pads, and put the sausage in your mouth like it's a Jimmy Dean's. Never met a bitch like that. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get back to these boys.
My thing on it, fam. This is the ultimate test on where she sees you in the sexual market value. Mm-hmm. This going on right now is the ultimate test. Mm-hmm. If a chick is ignoring you, bro, and only just trying to, like y'all be saying, Snapchat, oh, should I Snapchat her? If it's not coming over, you're wasting my time. Just like I say on my channel. Mm-hmm. I give you time, you give me guts. So if me is giving you time with the texting and the Snapchatting, and I'm not getting guts, then it's like, what am I doing? So right now, is the perfect time to see where she sees you. So she's ignoring you, she ain't hitting you back, or do you already know she leaving you on scene? Yeah. So it should only be, let's come over and let's have wine. It should only be like that. It shouldn't be nothing else because nothing else is open. And if she's not reciprocating with that energy, then you already know where you fall in line with her. And you know what I'm saying? Then we just fall back and on to the next one. Have it at one.
Now, he is right about some of that. Because any girl that ever tells you they're too busy is full of shit. People make time for the people that they want to.
The first thing I want to say, StephIsCold has a good point in that if a woman is not being responsive, she is giving you clear indications that she don't really fuck with you like that, right? Because you better believe where she might respond slowly to you, there's another cat that she hear that ding ding, her ass hops like a track star to get on that phone, and she start typing hella fast to get him a response. Or she starts thinking and really like, oh, what should I say? And then she gives him a timely response. So people always act urgently for that which is a priority to them. People always act urgently for that which is a priority to them. So if she's not being urgent, then you're not a priority. If you're not a priority, you clearly got to feed her some more game, or you got to get you a new dame, one or the other. Now, another thing that StephIsCold has said, which was curious, he basically said, if I give you time, you give me guts, which is saying I give you time investment, you give me sex. Now, he's a young man, so I'm going to let him slide. But the big homie is going to tell you, if your number one goal with a female is sex, you're lost. You're lost. You're lost. You're fucking lost. Every woman on the planet Earth could potentially give you sex because they all have vaginas. As a man, and I particularly want to talk to men of color because it has been said that they portray African-American men as sex crazed. Well, I want to say some of you motherfuckers are sex crazy. You need to knock it off.
That's how I used to be. I can't front.
You need to be focused on greater things than your dick. If your dick is ruling your life, you're living a very small existence. You're living like a caveman. The lower animals during mating season, they don't have anything else they can do. They have to mate. That's what's running them. They're being run by their biology. You should be run by your mentality. So if you're talking about, well, I give a woman time, she gives me sex. That's low, man. My time is way more valuable than this bitch's pussy. If I give this bitch time, I need everything. I need the bitch's pussy. I need the sex. I need her mind. I need her to edit my books. I need her to respond to my emails for me. I need her to drop off my dry cleaning. I need her to vacuum my home. I need her to do everything. If you just want the sex, you're giving her a cheap way out. She's cheating you if she's only giving you her body. A real P is asking for everything. And when you demand more of the woman, when you force her to give you more, including her soul, then she's going to care more about you because she had to invest more in you. So you need to take her time, take her finances, take her emotions, take her network and contacts, make her work for you. That is the highest level of pimping. And here's the thing. If you're just getting the sex out of a woman, you think she'll ever see you as special? You think you're the only guy she's fucked? Huh? You ain't special. You ain't the only guy she's fucked. You know how many niggas have stuck they straw through her hula hoop? You're not the only one, man. But here's the thing. Say you did it like the big homie. I got bitches editing my book. You think they've ever edited another nigga's book that he's writing? Hell nah. I had a bitch wash my car while I sat and watched it. I didn't even lift a finger. You think she's ever watched another nigga car while he sits there and watches her do it? No. When they do those acts of service, it affects their psychology. And then they have to create a backstory in their mind as to why they did it. I washed this car because he is this to me. I edited his book because he's this to me.
I'm going to stop him right there. How many of y'all ever had a girl wash y'all car? I haven't. Fuck. I'm slacking.
But the sex, a bitch could get drunk at a party and have a one-night stand with a stranger. So if you're looking at sex as a true value, you're seeing the woman's offering in a very limited way. And it shows how primitive and animalistic your thinking is. How could the woman ever see you as an evolved person, as a leader, when you're chasing carnal things? They could never do that. Women are really most taken with the spirit. If you ever looked at Adolf Hitler, he has narrow shoulders, he's unattractive, has a big nose, a terrible comb over. But if you ever looked at the videos when he's giving speeches, you will regularly see teenage women and women in their early 20s passing the fuck out and fainting. Why? Because the sexual urge just got to a point where they couldn't stay conscious. Why? Because he was a spiritual figure to them. Women are spiritual animals. That's why they believe in all kind of bullshit like horoscopes. You ever hear a bitch, oh, you're an Aries, aren't you? You're a Taurus, aren't you? Oh, I'm a Gemini. And then they tell you what it means.
Loving that.
Even though it means nothing, right? Because they're spiritual. They want to believe in the intangible, things you cannot touch. A penis you can touch. I never pride myself on fucking a woman. Never. But I do pride myself on fucking her mind. I do pride myself for putting myself in her brain somewhere that no man has gone before. So that when you're fucking the bitch, even if you did a great job, I'm still the nigga that's gotten closest to her heart, which means if I ever call the bitch back, she's gonna come running. You ever think about a pimp has gotten in a bitch's head. He'll lend you her body. He'll rent her body out to your dumb ass. But he has her mind. The mind is the most valuable thing. The mind and the heart. The body is cheap. Come on, nigga. It's 2020. These hoes is giving out pussy like Costco samples. How many times I gotta say it? So stop pinning your emotions on the woman's vagina. Now, gentlemen, you have any closing thoughts and comments?
Fellas, I really do apologize for how long this video is. But I feel like my level of game is so up there, it's very rare for me to see somebody that has that level of game or more. There's a saying that if you are the smartest person in that room, then you should find a new room. And when I watched the live, I didn't see as many things that I disagreed with for it to make sense for me to make a video. Until I watched this video of him and all the things he disagreed with, and then realized he's way more right about most of this stuff than these guys are. And it also, to me, means I got some work to do, because it's time to start building more of that knowledge up. I ain't really got much to say. I'm out.